Uh, Dr. Nilima, TIC Department of Mathematics, my dear colleagues, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone present here. It is my pleasure to welcome you all on this morning and this webinar, which is the future aspects of mathematics and for the students and by a dynamic young personality who is our alumnus also, like Sudhanshu is our maths honors student and one of the student who was very bright and still he is progressing a lot and he's working in a MNC as a manager and we are indeed honored and happy to see our students growing like this. And I welcome you, Sudhanshu, on the behalf of Ramjas College, on behalf of Department of Mathematics, on my own behalf, and also grateful to you for giving your precious time and sparing time on this Saturday morning, as the time is very less because we have some other programs in college of the Commerce Department and other departments. It starts at 12 o'clock, so we have to very precise and and I request all the students to take initiative and ask sir to for future aspects of mathematics. And this session is exclusive for students only. I encourage all to participate actively in this next 1 hour to learn more of career opportunities of mathematics. So without taking less of time, I welcome you, Sudhanshu, to the Ramjas College, to your own college. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tanisha.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's event, Mr. Sudhanshu Kumar Singh, Senior Analyst at Saarthee Technology Pvt Limited, Gurugram. Mr. Sudhanshu is working in the field of data science and has a deep passion for uncovering insights and trends hidden within complex data sets. His expertise in statistical analysis, machine learning, and data visualization has allowed him to develop predictive models and generate actionable insights for a variety of industries, including healthcare, finance, e-commerce, telecommunication, and manufacturing. Throughout his career, he has honed his skills in data science tools like Tableau, Power BI, SQL, SAS, Alteryx, KNIME, and programming language such as Python, and he has become proficient in working with large data sets and cloud computing platforms like AWS and Azure. Additionally, he has a strong understanding of database management systems and data warehousing concepts. One of his key strengths as a data analyst is his ability to effectively communicate technical findings to both technical and non-technical stakeholders. In his spare time, he enjoys exploring new data science techniques and sharing his knowledge with others in the field. Whether it's attending conferences or participating in online forums, he's constantly seeking to grow as a data scientist and broaden his knowledge in AI. He envisions using data science skills in artificial intelligence to make optimum utilization of knowledge and experience that he has gained in this domain. Sir, we're truly honored to have you with us today. So, without further ado, I request Mr. Sudhanshu to begin with today's session.
Good morning, everyone. It's really honored to be here and to be here where you have already been there. And I've really been privileged to be in touch with Nilima ma'am, if she's already there, and Ruchika ma'am, because I'll tell you, the teachers that you get in DU, right? These teachers are totally different. They are there for you, whether you will be there asking them questions or not, they will be there for you. I have realized this thing. So anyone who ever asks me, right, whether should I be joining DU or not, my only answer to them is join the right college and have a right mentor over there. And I have really been privileged to be in constant touch with Ruchika ma'am and Nilima ma'am as well. So it was glad to be there, and I'm really privileged and honored to be here. Thank you everyone for welcoming me. And since this session is all about career, so I would just like to know, most of you have done already maths honors, right? So you must be in your final year, right? Each one of you?
धीरे-धीरे ठीक हो रही है.
Sorry?
second year and
हाँ मतलब थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा.
final year is there are students from final year as well. Yeah.
Okay. So just let me know, what do you think right now, whatever you're studying, is it of any use? Because when we used to study, right, we always thought that whatever we are studying might not be of use. But let me tell you, the mathematics that you're learning in, especially real analysis and algebra, I'm telling you, whether you have your career in maths or not in future, no matter where you go, you will have that tendency to use it, and it can be used everywhere, literally everywhere. And I have had that added advantage. Instead of not being from the IT domain, not being from the engineering domain, I have entered this domain with ease just because of maths. So I'll just tell you today some of the briefs of maths. So any one of you would like to know or share with them, like why they had joined maths honors course first? Mm-hmm. Any one of you? Let's make it more interactive. That would be better. No one would like to try? Why did you think like you had joined? Because when I had joined, I'll tell you my reason for joining was I had to prepare for civil services in the long run. And I always knew I was very good at maths and I wanted to use maths honors as optional. So I took up this option of doing maths because I wanted to enhance my knowledge in mathematics. So any one of you can have that kind of a reason. So would you like to share? Okay. So today I'll share with you and tell you what are the like basic advantages of doing maths. So first and foremost is the analytical skills that you have to have. In maths, you have to have that, and maths helps you to garner that and in long run use that in your career. So what do you understand by analytical skills? Any one of you? So analytical skills are basically where you question everything that you have, you learn to question. Everything you should learn to question. There should not be a single thing that you should just accept it the way you have. So you must be doing real analysis, right? So right now, these days, you must be seeing everywhere, some people prove 2 is equals to 1. That is wrong, right? But what is that step where everyone goes wrong? That you learn to question. That is the analytical skill. So in your long career also, first objective is questioning. Without it, you cannot go. Once you question it, then research about it. So like the example I have given you in real analysis, if you have something to prove RHS is equals to LHS. So over there, you have to first and always question why we are doing that, then research how to do that. It is very, very important. And then coming to analysis, where you analyze it. So analyzing means if you have a very big set of problems, complex problems, you break it in parts. That's the reason most of you might be asking also teachers, when you write all your steps in your for your questions, do we get answers for those steps even if we don't have your answers right? Most of you must be asking that, right? Because every step matters. So analyzing things means breaking your complex problem into smaller ones. What it helps is like for every smaller problems, if you have that mindset, you might be able to get answers for any one of them. Okay. And then after analyzing it, then putting things together. And last but not the least, it is very, very important to have good communication skills. Very, very important in today's era. Because you might have a lot of knowledge. If you're not able to effectively communicate to the person, it is of no use. Right? So these 5 things you have to keep in mind always. No matter what happens, first is questioning. Always learn to question who it is, what it is. Obviously, the way you question is different. That's totally depends on you. But if you have good communication skills, you will learn to question it effectively. Okay. Once you have this, then you have to go for 3 other things. Anyone knows about interest, abilities, and capabilities, basically? Any one of you? So till now, how many of you have already thought of what career options you have? So once you have these 5 things, after this, what you have to think of is what is your interest. It might happen, some of you have done maths honors. In longer run, your interest is not into it. But at the same time, if you have the interest, you should learn what are your capabilities and abilities. So first is checking your interest. Most of you would be having doubt on that. Even we had, even your teachers had at that age, and that is understandable. So, but how to know about your interests? Any one of you? So there are particular questions that you should always be asking. What activities enjoy you? What are those activities that enjoy you? So exciting you basically. First question is that what subjects do you individually excel in? So when it comes to interest, it is not like I always tell people and my friends around, interest is not about only what you love doing. Interest is all about what you love doing and you can excel in it. So always try to reach the top, no matter what it is. So if your interest is something that drives you, that you can think that if I will do this in times to come, I will reach the top. That is what will drive you always to work in your interest. Because we as a humans have this tendency that today something is interesting to us, tomorrow it may not. But what will keep us always driven towards our task is whether that interest is able to achieve some goal or able to reach us to the places where we want to reach. Got it? So these are the two questions that you should be particularly interested in when you want to know about your interest. Then last but not the least is again work environment or your college environment. So what kind of environment do you prefer to work in? So, and this will obviously change for everyone. Some people like to have very strict environment. Some people like to have cordial environment. This totally depends on you. But these three questions are very, very important to know about your interest. So whenever you next time have any doubt whether something excites you or not, always think about all these three questions. Excitement is one thing, whether it can help you achieve some goal. Because in long run, if you're not able to achieve your goal, let me tell you, life is so long, it becomes really monotonous if you don't have a goal to achieve. So for interest, these three questions you should be keeping in mind. After that, we have always, once you have your interest, then you talk about your abilities. See, you might be having interest in playing cricket, and you might be thinking that one day, someday, I might play cricket for India. Okay, that is your goal, and that will excite you. But do you have the abilities now for it? So one is about dreaming, and the other is about the abilities. So you always try to check whether your abilities are in sync with your interests or not. Okay, how do you do that? Again, so any one of you would like to try that? Try that. Mhm. So first, always before knowing about your abilities, so I work in the field of data science, right? So I always aspire to use the recent trends. So I'm continuous learner. So my interest, I'll give you the example. What happens? My interest is like I love learning and I want to apply that learning so that I can make some changes in the industry or for a nation. So for I'll develop any products for or anything related to data science and AI. So right now I'm working on a product basically where it will ease him. Just keep yourself on mute if you're not speaking because it's creating echo. Thank you. So basically,
Sudhanshu, if you want to share something, I have made you co-host if you want.
it's fine, not an
Okay.
issue. Okay, or else I'll share it. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So choosing your career is basically is blending of these three things: interests, abilities, career options. So interests, I told you, it's about activities that you enjoy doing, what you excel in, and what kind of environment you prefer. Then talking about the abilities, it is very, very important. I'm telling you, if you have your interest and if your abilities are not in sync with your interests, then it will not go and fetch you results. Okay. So you have to know what are the educational requirements or what are the prerequisites so that you can excel in your interests. Got it? So prerequisites of everything. So if I'm in data science and if I'm making a product wherein it will ease people to commute easily in Delhi Metro. Okay, so I'm developing an app for that matter. So that is my interest, and my goal is to easing commuting for the people. So I have to know my abilities. For that, I have to question what are the requirements. Okay. So at times, what happens, it is not only the skills that happens and that is required. Okay. You all are graduating or you will be graduating in future. There's a purpose why in education system we have graduation. So you also have to know which specific graduation degree you should know, certification or vocational training. Okay. And obviously then the last is investment for anything. It can be financial investment, it can be a time investment. So time investment is very, very important because when we think of investment, a lot of people think it is only about financial investment, but our time has a lot of value. So you have to think. Suppose now again, I'll come back to the example where someone wants to play cricket and you have constant interest to play cricket for India and you reach the age of 30.
Sudhanshu, I think there's some problem in sharing the screen.
Okay, not an issue. I'll speak about it because I think is it visible? Screen is visible or not?
I don't know. It is. You can close it and then again share it. I think there's some problem. It's still,
Okay, I'll just do that again. Now I think it will be visible.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah. So I was on this slide basically. I was talking about the abilities. So I was giving the example of playing cricket. Okay, and you reach the age of 30. It interests you, it excites you, but your abilities are not in match with the requirement now. Okay, so if you reach the age of 30, as a cricketer, you have that age gap, right? Wherein you can only play up till 40 or 30. Even Sachin Tendulkar played for only till that age. So if you're going to make your career only for 4 to 5 years or 8 years, that is not going to excite you for the long run. So over there, your abilities matter. So if you think that if your interests are good, you have to ensure you get the abilities at the right age at the right time. So that's what I'm talking about, time investment. At the right time, you have to learn how to invest your time. And I always say it's never too late, never too early. There is always but right time. So that right time you have to ensure when you get to know about the interest. First is interest, then your abilities, and for that time investment I have told you is very, very important. Then getting to know. So once you have your interest, once you have your abilities, then you have to know what all are the career options. So again, going with this dream of playing cricket, you have this option, right? Even if you reach the age of 30 and still if you want to play cricket, your ultimate goal was to play cricket for India, but unfortunately you reached the age where you could not get the abilities. Then you have to think of options that you have. Okay, that's when you have to know about multiple options. So if you cannot play for Team India, at least you can play for IPL, right? So these are all the options you should be knowing. It's not like I have one goal and I don't know about the options, even though if I don't have the capabilities and my abilities. So you should always know about the career options. Got it? So these are the three things you should always keep in mind. Any doubt with that? No, right? So I'm coming to the career option in mathematics. So in mathematics is really, I'm telling you, some people underestimate it in the market, but I'm telling you, it is one of the most powerful, literally most powerful subjects which can place you anywhere and everywhere. Because the things that we learn over here, I know as a student, even I used to think that whatever we are learning, it might not be of any use. But let me tell you, those things that you are learning, and if you're seriously learning, everything will come to use. I'm telling you that maybe not directly, but indirectly. I'll tell you my advantage that I have since I have done mathematics. So you might be already aware in the IT domain, a lot of engineering students are there, right? But the added advantage that I have is that my owners or my bosses know that analytical skills matter a lot with numbers, right? So I have that advantage of being doing mathematics honors, that I'm never wrong with numbers. They can go wrong with the numbers, but I'm never wrong with numbers. And And they know when it comes to number, automatically my mind is tuned in such a way that I pay extra attention to it, which other colleagues of mine will not pay attention to that much. So advantages. Had I not done maths, my instinct to look for numbers and get the accuracy will never be there. That instinct you must be developing by now. You might not realize right now, but when it comes to usage of it, then you realize it. So don't underestimate it. I'm telling you there are a lot of options. Whatever I have given, obviously, this is not entire. Whatever I could list down, I'm listing down that. So I have like top 10 as of right now that is going in the market. First is obviously data scientist. So anyone knows what is the role of data scientist? And actually, some of you might be doing it because when we were in college, some of our colleagues were doing actuaries, then software engineer, and then consulting. For consulting, you have to keep one thing in mind. It is the communication skill, which is of utmost important. Because what is the role of consulting? Anyone knows? What does consulting require you to do? So it basically requires you to meet people and basically provide them solutions. So over there, when you're meeting people and providing people solutions, then you have to know again a good way to communicate whatever is going in your mind. Then a cryptographer. I'll tell you in detail about all these. And the next 5 are obviously a professor. For this, obviously you're graduating right now. In future, you have to do masters. Okay, then statistician. So don't ever think that statistics and maths are totally different. Okay, I had this added advantage wherein I always, whichever subject I do, I try to apply maths in it. So I don't ever think that if I'm doing maths, statistics is totally different. No. Okay. When it comes to physics as well, some of you must be having friends in physics. So I always say where physics ends, math starts. So you have like physics, right? So in physics, what happens? You want to prove something. And then proving that, we have our mathematical theorems. So similarly, maths and statistics have a lot of things in common, and you can be a statistician after doing mathematics as well. A lot of my classmates are doing that already. They're into statistics. Then obviously mathematical programmers. So what is the advantage of mathematical programmers, or what domains do they work in? So you must have heard these days a lot of about gaming industry, right? So over there, mathematical programmers play a lot of role. Can anyone think of what role can someone play as a mathematical programmer in gaming industry? So I'll give you a basic example. So one of the example is, suppose right now you must be going to the mall, right? Over there you have got one cricketing pitch where you play with tennis ball, right? And we have that ball coming out at the speed that you want, right? You set the speed, right? You are doing the batting, you set the speed. Over at the back end, there is a mathematical programming happening. We tell at 1 minute, within the 1 minute, how many times the ball should be thrown at what speed. That is the role of mathematical programming. Then obviously data analysis, and then mathematical economics. Again, mathematical economics is something that not many people pursue, but it can fetch you literally national and international level recognition, because economics in itself is a very good thing. When you apply economics to mathematics, it's like putting icing on the cake. So it is again very, very important. So I'll tell you in brief about all of these. So key skills I have already told you, these 5: questioning, researching, analyzing, evaluating, and communicating. Now coming for data analysts, what is very, very important. So I am working in this domain. So for this, 3 things are very, very important. First, understanding your data. No matter, so understand why this as a domain or as a field or a career option is demanding so much, and it's promising as well. Can anyone think of why it's so much in demand these days? Because as we are communicating, no matter where we go, we use our phones, no matter where we go. So data is being generated. So there is a new saying that is going on: data is the new oil. Just like there was an era when oil was in demand and there was pricing for oil. So now we say data is that. Everywhere there is data. And if you learn how to understand that data and to give some actionable insights out of that data that adds value to the businesses, country, and to the organizations. So for that, this as a career option is so much in demanding because we have so much we don't know have people to work on it. And you as a mathematics graduate have additional added advantage to that because it will be relatively easier for you to understand the data because you already are understanding the numbers. Got it? So in this we have three things: data analysis. So in data analysis comes our basically first thing, data cleaning. So right, as data is being generated across the world, we have redundant data and useful data, right? Some data might not be of that use. So you should know how to remove. You have to analyze and think what do you have to remove. Then data transformation is the part where you will be making sure your data is changing the way according to the requirement. Okay, got it? Then second part is data visualization. So data visualization, I think most of you must be doing it. In your first year also, you must have, we draw graphs, right? Yes or no? We draw graphs in our career, right? In our college, right? So for that, you won't imagine there is entire industry for that now. So we have tools, literally we have softwares which do only this thing. And I think most of you must be learning on Wolfram Mathematica as of now, because when we were there, we used to work on Wolfram Mathematica. So don't underestimate those things. You might be underestimating right now, but later on these things, there's entirely separate industry for that, I'm telling you. And why it is? Because if you have millions of data, and if you millions of data businesses cannot understand, and if you cannot understand, but if you put them in graphs, it's very easy to understand, right? If you have an industry of our college, it is 100 plus years, right? So if we want to know in our college itself that within from last 100 years, what was the trend of maths graduate, what was the percentage trend? So if someone will ask me to go through the entire data, it will be very difficult for me to go through. But if I visualize that for every year, how many students graduated, what was the percentage of people who graduated with 90 plus, what was the percentage or CGPA for that matter as of now. So if I start visualizing that, it gives you answers. So this is totally a different industry as of now. So it comes under data analysis only. Okay. Then statistical analysis. So statistical analysis basically helps you to find a correlation between two things. So if I'll give you an example where you want to find the correlation between the number of students who are joining our college and number of students who are graduating or completing their graduation. We want to find a correlation where there is a positive correlation. It means when I'm telling number, it means if 100 students are enrolling in a year, if 98 students are graduating, it means 2 are not graduating, right? This correlation we have to find. On this basis of on this correlation basis, we can predict in future what is going to be the future, whether this correlation will remain same or because of other effects like curriculum being changed or some other effects are happening, what will be the impact of this correlation. Got it? So this is your data analysis. Any question on that? No, right? Then coming to data scientists. So data scientist is basically a next step to data analysis. So data scientist is basically just like you have one analyst which will analyze for you and one scientist which will tell you apply those whatever analysis has happened. Now humans we are doing it. Till now in the previous one I was drawing the graph. I was telling that this year these many students joined. But over here what will happen in data scientist, we will train machines to do that because they will be a lot more faster, right? We will start doing the forecasting. So in data analysis, we work on the historical data. In data scientists, what we do, we use the historical data, do the analysis, and now we predict the future data. Got it? And in all of these things, maths is utmost important. Without it, you cannot do it. I'm not saying that only if you're a graduate, then you will be able to do it. Even if you're not graduate of mathematics, still you can do it, but you have added advantage. But maths will be used for sure. Someone who has not done the graduation, they'll have to learn separately. But if you have already done graduation, you will have the upper hand. Got it, everyone? Then consulting domain. So when you have data science, data analytics, The next step you become is consultant. What is the role of a consultant? It is he or she is assumed that they already know everything, so they can guide you through. So role of consultant are to give you consulting services where they will tell you, if you do this, this is what will happen. On what basis they can say this? Because they have already worked previously on the historical data and on the forecasting. Over here, that business acumen is required. When we say business acumen, it means you understand your business very well. So when you are graduating, when I say consulting skill, it means you have that subject acumen. So you should be master in one of the subjects. For analysis, if you have analysis, algebra, numerical methods and programming in that. So you have that acumen. So you should be knowing in and out of it. Got it? And how can you know that in and out of it? When you have a lot of that urge to know what is happening in the market. So research urge is there. If you don't have that, then you cannot really sustain in the consulting domain, because things would be changing. And if you don't research, you will not be updated. Then obviously you will not have 360-degree and understanding of your subject. Got it? Then the project management skills. So project management is basically how do you manage different tasks. Okay, so these skills are very important. These things you should be learning right from the college. See, out of these three, first two should come from your maths. So you should be having, so when I'm telling business acumen, you should be having a deep understanding of any one of your subjects. Okay, and you should learn, if you think that you are going in future in XYZ company or XYZ business. So for that matter, let's take manufacturing. If you think you're going in manufacturing, so if you know one of your subjects very well, you should learn how to apply that. You should ask your teachers, how can I apply that? Okay, how can we apply our mathematics or numerical analysis into manufacturing? Got it? And then obviously research. When you start asking these questions, then only research thing will come up. You'll try to always learn extra. So if you have this question, how can we apply our numerical analysis in manufacturing? Then you would obviously want to do the research and understand what manufacturing is all about. What does it require? And then project management skills will come up. When you will have asked these questions, a lot of things will come up, like manufacturing requires sales, finance, your inventories. So how do you manage, balance all of these things? Got it? Then statistician. So I have already spoken about this, that some of you might think that maths and statistics are totally different. From learning perspective, it might be, but from application perspective, it is not. So it is not like both of them are separate. There is always common ground. Okay, and you can always learn. Okay, so don't ever think some of your friends might be in statistics. So don't think that their subject is totally different. Always try to. So what I used to do, some of my friends were in statistics. So I used to apply some of my whatever I have learned over here, right? I used to ask them, what do you do over there? So if you must be learning probability over here, right? In maths. So how to use that probability that you are learning in statistics? That is called using mathematics in statistics. And there are numerous ways. I talked about correlation right now. That comes from statistics. But if you understand the fundamentals of mathematics, you can only apply the statistics if you have the deep understanding of your fundamentals. Okay. So there's a career in this also. It's not that there is no career. I'll give you the example of this. In this scenario, when your Delhi Metro was being made, right, 10 years back, that time a lot of statisticians had played a major role, trying to know the path of Delhi Metro so that can reduce your road traffics. So at what degree it should be. Okay, what is the correlation between, if there are 100 people driving on a road, and if we have a underneath metro line or overbridge metro line, how many people can pass through it? So if 100 people are passing on the road and in a metro 1,000 are passing, so is building it over the advantageous, or building it somewhere else where right now 99 people are passing, and over there you build a metro and only 1,000 people are passing? That is not advantageous, right? So statistician played that role actually. Next, coming to actuary. So for actuarial science, I'm sure some of you might be working over there already. You must be giving the papers, because when you were there, our classmates used to give, and they're working really well in the industry right now. So for actuaries, it is very, very important to know what is the financial sector and insurance sector concepts. For this, and in our college and in when you'll be doing masters also, so directly some of the companies come in masters, right? When we used to do so over there, a lot of my friends are already directly placed from the college due itself after doing maths honors. So, but they had the understanding of insurance and financial sector. So actuaries will play a role when you want to go into domains of insurance and financial sector. So one of the examples in this scenario would be the risk analyst. So what risk analysts do? So in the banking sector, a lot of frauds are happening, right? So their job is to predict the fraud. Their job is to know which person can do the fraud. Got it? Then software engineers. So for software engineers, programming skills really matter, but for programming skills to be applied properly, mathematical skills matter. So if you're learning Wolfram Mathematica right now, I don't know whether you're learning Matplotlib or MATLAB or Wolfram Mathematica, but whichever one you're learning, just don't go and make graphs over there. Understand what we are doing over there. Because those understanding skills, the programming skills that you're acquiring over here come in handy over here. Got it? And over here, obviously, for any software engineer, for any kind of engineering, debugging is very, very important. It will never happen that at one go, whatever you have developed will be perfect. Never. No one is perfect. So debugging means understanding where we have made the error and removing it. So for this, patience is required. You should learn how to develop that patience skills as well. Patience is something that not teachers can provide. There's a lot of these things happen from peer group. So you should have that understanding. You should continuously check yourself. Am I doing this? Do I have patience for something? Because for software engineer, I'm telling you, patience is required. Because once you develop something, there will be a lot of errors, a lot of bugs will be there. How to debug it? If you don't have patience, you'll be like, oh my God, everything is wrong. I don't want to do it anymore. But you should also understand none of the software engineers, no one who's into coding, no one who's into programming is perfect. Everyone has gone through your stage that you will be going through, and that is a normal path that has been developed. For that, you should have a patience. Got it? Then cryptographer. This industry is again booming a lot because of cryptocurrency. So what is cryptography? Anyone knows? So cryptic language, do you know? Cryptic language, any secretive language. So you must be using WhatsApp a lot. So in WhatsApp, it is written, your chats are end to end encrypted. It means whatever you're chatting, you and the final receiver of it, only you people have access to it. Whereas even the company which is owning it will have knowledge of it only in encrypted language, not in your language. It is coded language. So encrypted language is like secret language. So even the company will have access to it. So encrypted so that no one else can understand. Got it? Then obviously professor and academic career. So a lot of our batch students are already into it. A lot of them. For this, obviously, after maths, you have to do post graduation. Okay. And then mathematical programmer. Anyone knows mathematical programmer what it does? I already given you one of the examples. So over here, basically, we do the algorithm designing. Okay. So algorithm designing is basically what comes next, what comes after that. This is called algorithms, simulations, numerical integration. So these things play a lot of role when you want to have a career in mathematical programming. Okay, and I'll tell you the basic layer of all these tools, that all these career options that you're learning, or I'm telling you, basic layer of all of them is the analytical mindset that I had told you about the 5 things before. Questioning, okay, evaluating, researching, analyzing, communicating. If you have those things, then these other career options are just a matter of what interests you and whether you can get the abilities and the capabilities required for it. Got it? Then the mathematical economist. So I love this actually because in this you have real time, literally real time example of what you learn. You must be doing game theory, right? Some of you must have opted for it. Okay. So in game theory, your calculus literally have direct correlation with what is happening in the across the world in economics. Literally. So if the poverty rate in India is X%, and if you want to apply mathematics and improve it, you can literally do that. So this has a social impact as well. So someone who they want to build a career in which there is social impact as well. Okay, you can choose this as a career. And maths will always have that additional advantage if you will learn little things as well. So when I was doing my graduation, I had maths and one of my optional subjects were economics. So you can do that as well. So it will help you how to merge maths with economics, how to apply maths to poverty rate. Okay, how to apply maths with human development index. Okay, everyone is good with that, right? And in the last, I want to say something. Mathematics will never teach you how to add love or subtract hate. It is not about merely addition of something and subtraction of something. So when I say add love, it means adding something positive. Subtract hate means adding something negative. So mathematics will not teach you this, that you want to add something positive and subtract something negative. But what it will give you, if you have that mindset, it will always tell you for every problem there is a solution, and you are the solution makers. Got it? Any doubt? That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing us with your expertise and knowledge on the topic. Your insights have been truly valuable, and we're honored that you chose to share them with us today. Now we will move on to the question and answer session. The audience may ask any questions they have related to this topic. Are there any questions? Yeah, you can also ask them in the chat box.
Hello, sir. I have a question to ask.
Yes, please.
Sir, we talked about all the career opportunities that we have. Sir, one of them was software engineering. Sir, so I want to ask you a quick guide to how to go through that process. You know, sir, because sometimes we start, but in the very beginning, it's quite difficult to go through it, and then it might happen that we could quit there. So I want a quick guide for that.
Sure. So for that, you have to first and foremost, so you all are maths graduate or going to graduate, right? You have to understand what are the applications of mathematics and software engineering. First should be this. So you have to do research on that. What are the applications? And some of the applications that I can tell you are like whenever you're doing software engineering, right? There is one very basic thing, rule-based engineering or rules-based outcome. So in rules-based outcome, you have if-else statement. If this is true, then this. So in no matter which software engineering tool you will be using, you will have this like 90%. So we say whichever coding language you write, right? 80% of the things are rule-based things. So you start defining the rules. Okay. And to define those rules, you need mathematics. So if I tell that I want to develop one software where my sales, if it happens greater than 1 lakh, okay, so this rule I have to define now. Okay, so you have to learn the